What's going on, Star Wars fans?
Hello there.
Thanks for joining us. Welcome to Star Wars Jedi Chat. Today we have
everybody.
Yeah, Derek, Mike. Pleased to see you.
Oh yeah, always a pleasure. My favorite part of that intro is where it says Star Wars Jedi Chat with Ron, and Ron's not even here.
Yeah.
What a slacker. Ron has been such a slacker. How dare
Yeah.
he is out there living his life and doing
know.
great things.
Doing
What's
cool
up with that?
stuff without us.
I know.
I know. Without us is crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, I just knocked my desk. Don't fall over. Okay.
Thank you for everyone who's joined us so far. We got a few people in. We got Jedi Jarvo. Max Rebo Experience was actually early. Look at this.
Whoa.
Oh,
He was
my
in
gosh.
before we went live.
impressive.
Interesting. Darth Plagueis Live is here. Brett's here. So thanks for keeping an eye on us and joining us tonight. How are you guys doing?
Man, I'm doing well. How are you doing? Minus this weather. Like it's okay. We're getting fall, which is nice, but like this being dark when I wake up and dark when I get home from work. Like it's just always dark, and I'm a Sith. You'd think I'd like it.
You
But I
should.
don't.
You should
Well,
like it.
Well,
I get it.
I mean, yeah, Vader was a Sith, and he chose Mustafar, where it's always glowing lava. So he's got brightness all day long.
Yeah,
See,
good
there you
point.
go. There you
Good
go.
point. I hate to tell you, Derek, it's pretty nice weather in Nashville, but
Oh,
Thanks.
yeah,
Thanks, buddy.
hate to tell you, Mike, too. The East
yeah,
Coaster.
no, it was raining the last 3 days, which sucked.
Yeah, but I mean, the East Coast, especially where Mike's at, is so nice.
Yeah, that's true.
It is,
It's so
especially
nice.
this time of year. You know,
Oh, I bet.
But we're not
reminds
here-
me of Family Guy.
how long can we go on this live stream without talking about Star Wars?
Yeah, I was about to
That's
say.
the question.
Little did they know, we're here to talk about weather.
Yes.
Um,
On Mustafar, we did.
Yeah.
We did
mention
that.
Star Wars,
So
yes.
Good point.
me.
so we got some things that came out, some things that didn't this week. I'm sure
Oh,
we can talk about them. I wanted to ask you a question, Mike. Anything come up on your streams this week that interested you that you maybe haven't thought of?
Always. Well, we talk about, especially yesterday, we talked about what happened over the weekend, because as the live stream says, over the weekend was New York Comic-Con. And actually, what I didn't know was happening was Comic-Con in Scotland, where Rosario Dawson was, and Iman Esfandi and Hayden Christensen. A lot of the cast of Ahsoka Season 2 were over in Scotland this weekend. And a lot of kind of big news, I guess, for Ahsoka Season 2 came out of that, because Rosario Dawson confirmed a few things, and Bryce Dallas Howard was at New York Comic-Con, and she confirmed a few things. So we talked about that live, and of course, we'll probably talk about it again today. But one of the biggest things that came up from all of that, and I'm dying to ask you guys, is the run times for Season 2. Bryce Dallas Howard sort of alluded to the fact that they will be around 45 to 60 minutes. And that's very on brand with Season 1. If you look back, they're all about anywhere from 37 minutes to like 59 or something like that. So they're, again, that 45 to 60 minute range is that it's a constant argument amongst the Star Wars fans. But to you guys, what is the ideal runtime? And not just for Ahsoka Season 2, but the ideal runtime for a Star Wars episode in general.
Oh, just a single episode?
Just a single episode, because whether it's 8 episodes, 12 episodes, I guess it varies. But just in general, if you're going to sit down on a Tuesday night, 9 p.m. release, or for me, 9 p.m. release, what are you expecting? What are you hoping for? If you see like 20 minutes or 25 minutes, you're like, oh my God, that's way too short. If you see an hour and a half, you're like, what the heck's going on here? Like, what's the perfect spot?
45 minutes.
45?
Yep.
Yeah, I would say 45 of actual run time.
Yes, that's a big
so
thing.
maybe a posted like 55er. Because and I do think we talked about this, whether it was last week or the week before. It depends what the episode is, because there are some episodes that are jam packed with really great stuff that are only 27 minutes that are great.
Yeah.
And obviously you leave it wanting more, but you do that with every episode. So that's not just a runtime issue. But so it depends on the episode. I don't have any examples right now, but I know there were some shorter ones that are really, really good. from past shows. Just depends, I think, on what's going on. But I would agree with Derek. Like 45 is great. You can get a lot done in 45 minutes.
Well, it's funny because people think it's so consistent, like, oh, they're only 35 minutes and every episode's 35 minutes. We just started the Bad Batch, me and Sam, and the first episode of season 1 is like an hour and 20 minutes. And then
Yeah.
the season is like maybe 25, 30 minutes, but it's like a Bad Batch movie to start the season. And they do that sometimes. Like the first episode of Mando season 2 with Cobb Vanth, that's like an hour, maybe
Yeah.
a little bit over an hour.
Yeah, I think for like a special or like even like the first or the last an hour,
Yeah.
maybe even an hour 15. But I think the average episode is really like I think that 45 is that sweet spot.
Mhm.
And that's runtime. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
you know, that doesn't count credits and all the other stuff.
I would also say that the typical thing, at least as far as we've known it, is that they release 2 at the beginning every time, which kind of makes it feel like you just watched a movie. You know,
That's true.
those might be an hour. I don't think Mando season 2 was that way, but I think in any of the shows that they start the show completely, you usually get 2 episodes. In this case with Andor season 2, it was 3 episodes at a time. But yeah, that's also an interesting point. Like Andor, I don't even know what the run times are with those because I just knew I was committed to 3 episodes and knew that it would take a while. It'd basically be a movie each time. So that's an interesting thought too.
Well, yeah, the Andor run times I went back and checked, they're all sort of similar. They're a little bit longer than the Mando episodes, but they're still like 40 to 55-ish minutes. And again, we were getting 3 a week, so it was a lot more. It felt like a lot more. I will say though, because I guess we are of the abnormal fan of Star Wars, we look forward to each episode as it comes out each week. We dissect each episode. We predict each episode. We do all this stuff. So to us, it's like this big hype anticipation for 1 week. And then you get to that and you're like, oh my God, it's only 30 minutes or whatever. When you go back and rewatch, like I just rewatched The Acolyte pretty recently, when you sort of binge a couple episodes at a time, it's like watching 2 movies at least. Like it's the length of 2 movies or maybe even 3 in some scenarios. So I think honestly, some of these shows, not all of them, but some of these shows get hurt because they don't release all the episodes at the same time. Like Andor season 2 would have been really hurt if they didn't do that 3 episode batch thing, because the first 6 episodes are this crazy build and it doesn't really start to pay off until the back half of the season. And if we had to wait 7 weeks, it would be just 7 weeks of chaos among Star Wars fans. So maybe a lot of the shows just work better in a binge format, not just the 30-minute episode, because it usually ends the episode on a cliffhanger too for the next week. But I don't know.
Now, what about animated versus live action?
Yeah. Well, animation started on cable. So it started with the 30-minute episode with commercials is like 22 minutes. So when you watch the Clone Wars, each episode is pretty much the exact same length. Now that Disney Plus exists,
they would usually show like the previous 2 before this episode, like right before it, so that you were like generally caught up, because they wouldn't, there wouldn't be like now the skip recap option. It'd just be on TV,
Yeah, exactly. So now that cable's gone and commercials are gone, there's no strict format. So we're sort of just in this limbo land of whatever you want really can be the runtime.
What do you think would have been the best option if you were to re-release exactly the same as it is, The Acolyte, for example? Would batching it up into like 3 or 4 episodes at a time have helped? I personally think that would have helped, for example, Obi-Wan, actually.
Yes.
To release them 3 and 3.
I completely agree.
I think there was a lot with those first 2 they put out and then a break to a couple of fillers, and then it ramps up again. That kind of hurt it a little bit in the, momentum. But to break that up 3 and 3 would have been perfect and leave them all alone the way they are.
I completely agree. I think with like you just mentioned, Kenobi specifically is a very, I guess, should have been a movie type thing. But the 3rd episode is when they fight for the first time. when Vader drags Obi-Wan across the hot fire. And if that was the end of like the first week, that'd be really, really cool. They could even do like a 3-2-1 so that the finale was on its own. But when you bring up the Acolyte, I think again it could probably work similar to being a 3-3-2 or something like that. Like I think it would have benefited from having multiple episodes come out each week, because by the time it got to week 3 and it was the episode with all the Night Sisters and people hated it, then it was this big fall off, and we couldn't even get to episode 5 where there was this huge lightsaber duel where people were like, hang on, wait a second. So I don't know.
I also think we've, forgive us for rehashing the Acolyte again, but I also think the way that the Acolyte season 1, I'll put that out in the universe, Acolyte season 1 was paced, kind of was spread out in a way where you're getting like the exposition about what happened on Brendock at like kind of weird times. So you had episodes where you're in your now story and episodes where you're only in the past, and they kind of happened really spread apart. And so if those were chunked even in half, like first 4 episodes, second 4 episodes, it wouldn't have felt so weird, because you'd have like this long set of episodes in the same kind of pacing instead of 8 where you kind of go up and down and up and down. So anyway, on that
we do have a poll up, by the way. I just put a poll up there. So it's how long do you think episodes should be? You have a few options, so make sure you vote on that poll.
That's awesome.
I felt pretty creative on that poll. So
there you go.
I'm very proud of it. Ron texted me. He's like, put a poll up. And I was like, oh, yeah.
Well, to Nick's point, though, going back to the Acolyte as per usual, episode 3 and episode 7 are the 2 that are Brendock exclusives.
Yeah.
So, in the flashbacks. So, having it be episode 3 and then you have to wait 4 weeks until episode 7, that's a long time.
Yeah.
So, I guess it kind of varies per show. So, let's talk Ahsoka season 2 specifically. We saw Ahsoka season 1. We got the week-to-week releases. I believe Ahsoka's was a 2-episode premiere. And the run times were about 40 to 55 minutes, somewhere in there, 45 to 60 minutes. So season 2 is going to be a very similar thing. Is that good? Is that like what we want? Like, is that yes?
I would say yes.
I'll always take more time. Always.
Yeah.
I will never not want more time. But like, I guess I kind of think of it like, Mike, when you were doing the watch parties.
Yeah.
I think it was just so much more accessible to do, like, that really, I guess there were 45, 50 minutes.
Yeah.
Whatever. And it made it so comfortable because it was like, you could watch it in one sitting. You could put your phone down. At least for me, that's a hard thing to do. And then you go get a snack, whatever, come back and in between, and then do another 45. So an hour and a half of your time is not that big of a deal.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm always on more time, but I think especially if you do, for example, 2 episodes in the beginning to like a 2-episode release, for those both to be 50 minutes is a little bit of an undertaking to get it going, but it does. I mean, we would love it, obviously.
Yeah.
I like the way that Ahsoka was. I know I've crapped on the 8-episode guideline for Star Wars quite a bit. I think it worked for Ahsoka because we just knew there would be a lot of Ahsoka coming. Like we kind of knew there would be a season 2 no matter what, or that would tie in. So I don't think the 8-episode thing's a problem for me now. I am curious how 8 episodes at a similar time runs with how many things we now have certain are variables in the story. I think there's a lot of variables in the story that I'm now like, man, how are you going to do that in like 35 minutes each episode? So I'm confident that they'll scale it down as they always do to whatever matters the most. But that would be my only hesitancy or hesitation, I guess is a better word, for similar episode lengths, because we went into Ahsoka thinking like we generally know what's going on, but we're just here to have fun, see Ahsoka, see what happens with the Rebels crew, set it up. And now it's all set up. and there's a lot of things in there that now mean a lot and a lot going on, to where I'm like, I would have assumed it'd be longer, but I'm okay with it. The pacing was good last season, so
I actually, it's kind of off topic, but it's on topic. You just reminded me of something. I saw a video last night that was so perfect for Star Wars fans today. It said like Star Wars fan in 2016 or 2018. It was right sort of near the end of Rebels. So it says Star Wars fan in 2018, talking about Rebels. Season 1 is it's all right. It's sort of a setup. Season 2 is pretty good, and then season 3 and 4 are just masterpiece. And then it says Star Wars fan in 2025. Season 1 was terrible. You know, episode 3 lost me. Cancel the show. Cancel the show. Like, we used to give so much time for a show to breathe. Rebels, honestly, it is a masterpiece, but by season 2, 3, and 4, you got to get through season 1. So it's just these short attention spans, I think, that people have now, that a show like the Clone Wars or even Rebels, if it came out today, it would have been canceled. Like, it would have been absolutely destroyed because the first season wasn't the greatest thing to ever exist.
Right.
So it's just funny.
And also, Cat Dealer, I don't know what your name is, but anyways, pointed out that YouTube is down for about an hour in major cities. So funny story, I was trying to watch on my channel, my personal channel, and it won't work. So you're having troubles with YouTube, but if I pull it up on this channel, it's fine.
Huh.
It's weird. So I know they're doing some massive updates with YouTube right now. And it's yeah.
How about we do this? If you're having problems on YouTube, or if someone you know wants to watch the live stream and is having problems with YouTube, hop over to our Instagram, smash a follow. Yeah, smash a follow, get on the Instagram or X. We're on X as well.
Well, now my YouTube's working now. So
yeah, mine's working.
Hopefully things are coming back.
And
like
then
I got like a server issue and it freaked me out.
And then Ron from the middle of nowhere, smash a freaking like, everybody.
Yeah, Ron on the Eureka now.
Ron's on his way to Peridia.
Yeah.
He's already there.
Yeah, he's already hanging out. He's on the Mortis God statues.
He is one of the Morris God statues. If Ron was one of them, who would he be? Obviously the father, right?
The father, yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Without a doubt.
Yeah. I don't know. He's kind of got the look of the sun going on if we painted red lines on him.
I think Ron needs to do a cosplay as one of them. We'll see which one. But in other news for Ahsoka Season 2, another one I want to throw past you guys is the budget. Bryce Dallas Howard mentioned that Rosario Dawson mentioned that the budget for Season 2 is lower than Season 1. In the same sort of sentence, she also said that Season 2 is a lot bigger than Season 1. So is this cause for concern? Is this raise the alarms?
No, I think it's because go ahead, Nick. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I think it's because there's going to be more dialogue.
Ooh, interesting.
I think that there's going to be a lot more banter with Thrawn. Obviously, you have one of the best dialogue characters in Star Wars history, if not the best.
True.
With Thrawn.
True.
So that's what I think. I mean, there's been so much budget stuff coming out. Of course, like all of the prequel budget. Yeah. So go ahead, Nick.
Well, two things that's a great point I didn't even think of. I hope it's that reason.
Me either.
One thing that Tony Gilroy said recently is that they're becoming a lot more kind of strict and strategic with budgets at Disney in general. And so it was kind of a miracle that Andor got so much money.
Yeah.
And then, which I'm glad they did. It also could be like technically a smaller budget because they already have all of the sets and pieces for it and all the stuff in place already. They have a lot of the, say, if they're using, what's the thing called, you guys, that they stand in?
The volume.
If they're using the volume for a lot of it, it was already made for Season 1, like the general vibe of Peridia or whatever. I could assume because they don't have to create the thing out of complete thin air this time, the budget is then, just indirectly lower. But I hope it's for the reason you said, Derek. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
I mean,
I mean,
that's what I think.
Mhm.
I didn't think of that either. That's a great point. I thought exactly what Nick said. I thought you have all the sets from season one, you have all the costume designs from season one. You save quite a bit of money there. I also have heard that season two is going to have even more on location shooting than season one had. So I'm sure that visually effects wise will save a lot of money. But you also have to put into effect that this is going to have a war in our Star Wars. So maybe we're going back to seeing a lot of those just Battle of Yavin type stuff or Battle of the Second Death Star, where we see a bunch of just space battles, TIE fighters blowing up, which, yes, that's a lot of special effects, but in a way, it's like there's no people involved. There's not a lot of. I'm assuming that it doesn't cost too much to explode a TIE fighter in space for Star Wars, but I don't know. I don't really know. I'm just hoping that it's. She didn't say it like it was a bad thing. She wasn't like, "Oh, we got a lower budget this season." It just seems like, I mean, they're going a lot bigger in season two. We've talked about it before. How they're going to fit all that into only 8 episodes, and I don't think it's cause for concern. It's just something pretty interesting. Yeah,
I would have, if you'd asked me, I would have. Again, I will say I looked this up beforehand. It's not confirmed the budget yet. We usually don't get that till the show's out.
yeah,
But I believe what she's saying.
yeah,
I would have thought it would be the other way. I would have thought it would have been way more expensive, but I think it makes sense on all accounts that some of that stuff, like if you think about creating Ahsoka out of thin air, just even like figuring out the Ahsoka prosthetics probably
yeah.
cost a lot of resources to figure out, and now they have it dialed. So
True.
I think there's probably a pretty significant amount of money that goes into even having the show ready that they already covered.
Yeah, true.
I don't know how that works though. When you look at Andor season 2 budget compared to season 1 budget, when
Yeah.
theoretically it would be the same scenario, but who knows?
Well,
I don't think
season
it's cause
two.
for concern.
No, yeah, me either. Season two was a lot more
No,
extravagant for
if
season one.
anything, I was a little excited when it came out that the budget was less, and I might be one of those rare people.
Yeah,
But again, like my mind thinks she's not.
Thrawn.
Again, we've talked about this so many times. Nothing is ever said unless it's meant to be said.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, one, they're getting our attention, but to me, her saying that the budget was less just shows again that there's something else of like this is more substance than it is
Yes.
visual effects.
Well, to
Yeah.
your point, Derek, the dialogue, the substance, not having like being on location more often than the last season, I think results into a similar feel where when Force Awakens came out, people who weren't super psyched about how the prequels looked loved the way Star Wars looked again. And all of the sequel haters out there can go argue with their wall because people loved the way Force Awakens looked when it came out.
Oh yeah.
Because a lot of it was practical.
Yeah.
I would love to see some more practical effects in Ahsoka. I'll be honest, I liked Ahsoka a lot. When she jumps off of the ship to fight Balin that last time and does the like somersault, took me
Oh
out of
yeah.
the show. Took me out of the show for a second. Didn't
Yeah.
need it. I don't know what the visual effects cost on that shot. Didn't need it. So if
Yeah.
it's those things that go, and you know, shit, the fact that they're casting the father apparently instead of CGI in him, that sounds cool to me. So
Yeah, me
on that
too.
note, yeah, on that note, Rosario also said in Scotland that she spent the last week or two of filming with Hayden Christensen.
Yeah.
What do we think about that? And that
He's
he
So-
played
still my Star Wars heart.
You- It's hard because you don't really know the order that they filmed this stuff.
Mhm.
But my favorite theory going into Ahsoka season 2 is that it ends with Ahsoka and Anakin as sort of these prison guards for keeping Abeloth on Peridia, just like the Mortis gods were from before they died. And now Ahsoka and Anakin have fulfilled that role as the daughter and the father. Now, whether there's going to be a son involved at all, maybe Balin or whomever, doesn't really matter. But it does give me hope for that theory that those two working alone together for a while, like that's where they're supposed to be. That's why Anakin doesn't come to Luke as a Force ghost. That's why Ahsoka's not involved with Luke's Jedi Temple. That's why Ahsoka's not in the sequel trilogy, because that's where they are. And it will explain it. It'll give them a big purpose because we all know how powerful Abeloth is. So they'll be doing the most noble and important thing in the galaxy, which is protecting the entire galaxy from this evil threat. And I think that'll be a great end. Hopefully that's what they're talking about here. But hey, either way, them working together, it's great. It's great.
I know no one wants to hear this, but maybe she dies.
Oh,
I thought about that. I thought about that for a while. I don't see them doing that. Just be.
I don't either.
First of all,
that would be the time to do it, though.
It would and it wouldn't. I don't know if she would be more powerful dead or alive. Like, is she gonna be? For example, Obi-Wan says, "You strike me down, I'll become more powerful than you could have possibly imagined." Would Ahsoka be more powerful if she's a Force ghost? Are we gonna watch her learn to become a Force ghost in the second season? Like,
cool.
That'd be pretty cool if she learned to become a Force ghost from Anakin. That'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah. I'm just throwing that out there. If they spent that much time filming together, because Rosario would not be who they'd use for flashback footage with him, and I don't know how to make that work.
I mean, you could assume another World Between Worlds sequence, but I don't think they'll do that in season 2. I hope they don't do that in season 2.
Or, it could be just the way she sees him at the end of the first season, and they talk like anyone else talks to Force ghosts in Star Wars, and they just happen to only be able to get Hayden those couple of weeks, and they knocked all of the footage out then. But,
well, you could also assume, it also sort of implies that it's just the two of them there. Balin's not there, Shin's not there, Sabine's not there, Hu Yang's not there. So did they go back to the main galaxy? Did Balin die? Did Shin die? Like, I don't think Sabine's going to die in the second season. I certainly don't think so. But I think it's more likely she gets back to the main galaxy. But how? Like, does somebody come pick her up? Does Ezra come and, ride some Purgle and come pick her up? Like, I don't know how anybody will get back from this galaxy because Thrawn couldn't for 11 years.
But, to Derek's point,
they learn to warp. They get Picard shows up.
There you go.
I'm sorry.
There you go.
I would never.
To Derek's point, how dare you? These people are pretty litigiously trained to only say what they're allowed to say. So I think it's definitely worth reading into the fact that she talked about that, because that would seem like a pretty big detail to share accidentally.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It is a weird detail, just the two of them specifically. So I'm hoping that it is for living reasons and not for dying reasons.
Yeah. So Jedi Jarvo just said, "Notice my shirt." It was because Paul McCartney was here yesterday.
Oh, there you go.
See him?
I have I didn't yesterday. This is for another day. That's a whole other story. We'll talk about that off there.
All right.
Okay.
There's an NDA on that one.
Oh.
Okay.
All right. I just saw this on my other screen here pop up on my X, formerly known as Twitter. We were wondering about the galaxy map and whether it be updated or whatever. This says that Jedi survivors Tanalorr and Kobo Abyss, or Abyss, have both been removed from the official Star Wars galaxy map.
That's sketchy.
Not only that, Mina Rao and the Sinar testing facility from Andor Season 2 have both officially been put onto the Star Wars galaxy map. So Season 2 planets of Andor have been added to the map, and 2 Jedi survivor planets have been removed from the map.
Whoa.
Sketchy.
Can they do that?
Well, yeah, what could that mean?
Maybe they're moving the location of the planets? Is that possible?
What?
But
Hold
like
on.
Tanalorr,
I have dived in dove.
Dave,
Yeah, dove?
Divin.
David, Filoni. Yeah, I've
wait.
looked at this way too much. Oh, why are you wearing? Is that a Timberwolves hat?
Yeah. Can you
Anyway,
believe it?
Yeah, I know, right? But I have looked. They can't change this now. They can't do this. That just means that they can bring Starkiller back.
This says there's a reason given. Hang on. Besides star systems appearing on the galaxy for the first time, you'll notice that some star systems that were on the map last time do not appear. I promise that they're still where they are, and you'll be able to find their information in the appendix still. Star systems will come and go from the map to reflect recent storytelling, honor early stories, and provide different views of the Star Wars galaxy. What? So why remove them at all?
That's interesting.
That's weird.
What could that mean that's good? Let's focus on that.
Well,
what could that mean?
Tanalorr
Yeah.
is the planet that's sort of hidden away that Cal is working on. I'm not familiar with the other one.
I mean, like, what's good about that? Does that insinuate that they're paying attention to Tanalorr? Right? That's
Yes.
they didn't just throw it on the map and forget about it. They removed it, I would assume, for a reason.
Oh, okay. So the other planet is the planet that's right outside the abyss, and Tanalorr is the one, or the nebula, and Tanalorr is the one inside of the nebula. So it's the two corresponding planets right next to each other, removed.
Mm-hmm.
That is weird. Now, it maybe has something to do with the third Jedi game, which would be kind of cool to get people excited, because only crazy people like us would notice this.
Yeah.
But that is strange.
Yeah. Where's Batu? Is it still on there?
Better be.
It definitely is,
it will be. But like a lot of my Batu theories are based on that map.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
So are they basically saying that they will adjust it based on what projects are relevant? And so they're still there. I don't know. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means either. This is weird.
I need some clarity.
Yeah.
So for anyone just joining us, Mike just found out on the air that the Star Wars official map that we've talked about before that they came out with has been amended. And 2 planets have been taken off, 2 planets have been added.
So here's the response to it. We work at the level of star systems, not individual planets. So features within those systems and use of the names we think would be most commonly used. For example, Arano is listed under the Iram system. This is admittedly a tricky one. Tanalorr and the Kobo Abyss are both within the Kobo system. So is the Kobo system still there?
Sorry, my dog's also freaking out on me.
Hang on,
she's very upset. She's very upset about this, guys.
Yeah. So, I mean, that is a cool thing about, when they're talking in universe about places. It is a cool distinction when they talk about systems and planets and whatever.
Yeah.
And they kind of get into it in the Clone Wars. However, like when we're talking about Endor, we kind of know that we're technically talking about the forest moon of Endor, but everyone just calls it Endor. Nobody cares. So
True.
I think this is a little,
which has always been confusing to me.
Yeah. Or
because what's on Endor?
I think it's not a habitable planet. It might be a gas planet.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Yavin is the big red gas planet, and Yavin 4 is the moon that the base is on.
Yeah.
Like there's weird stuff like that. But to do that on a map seems a little gratuitous.
Yeah, it does. I'm trying to find in the appendix.
It could be a matter of fact that like Tanalorr, nobody knows that Tanalorr is there except Cal Kestis and the people.
Yeah.
So it'd be like putting Peridia on the edges of a, on a map or something. That's crazy. Speaking of new stuff coming out while you're doing that, Mike.
Yeah.
Mandalorian Grogu, we're getting closer. I saw an article talking about Sigourney Weaver, and that she herself confirmed that she was only on set for, quote, a few days.
I did see that too. Yeah, that's weird.
What do we make of that?
Honestly, from the beginning, when they announced that Sigourney Weaver was going to be in this, I assumed that she wasn't going to be in it much at all. Then she was in the trailer. Then they marketed it like she's going to be in it a lot. And I was like, okay, maybe she has a pretty big role. I still don't think she does. Now, maybe it's the fact that her character has a big backstory. Like she's supposed to be a ex-rebel pilot. She was somebody who was working with the rebellion and then eventually moved into a general position or whatever in the New Republic, like Hera Syndulla. But it makes me think that she doesn't have a big role and that maybe her character could be used in a way as sort of cannon fodder for Grand Admiral Thrawn. Now, maybe you see something along the lines of like Din Djarin goes off on a mission for her and comes back to see that she's dead or gone or blown up or whatever, and she could be a catalyst for Thrawn, which would be great. But I don't know.
Or she's a scientific researcher on the planet Pandora that got moved over, or she's about to go to Pandora after this. I don't know. Wouldn't that be crazy if they tied in Avatar?
It would be. I mean, E.T. is in the Phantom Menace.
I was gonna say I wouldn't put it past them to do like a visual cameo, like a little tiny thing.
Clarification on this whole planet thing. Yes, Tanalorr and Kobo Abyss are both removed from the map, but Kobo, the star system, so the star system as a whole, is still marked on the map. Just the specific planets inside the system are not anymore. Don't know why.
Also, I apologize. My dog is absolutely going wild. So I'm like sitting here like playing ball with my dog on the air.
Love it.
Normally, like she's at doggy daycare during the day, and normally she's really cool, but tonight she's just really excited about these planets being gone.
Yeah.
She's like, where did the planets go? Missing a planet, Master Obi-Wan has.
We haven't heard much of Chewie in the last few recordings because he's just been sleeping.
Yeah, where's Chewie been?
He's right here. He just sleeps through the live streams now.
Chewie just living his best life.
Yeah, exactly.
Another thing from upcoming things, Starfighter. It's my last one in terms of little things that I'm throwing up here. Yeah. Well, second to last. Sorry, Mia Goth praised the script for Starfighter big time.
Oh yeah,
and was also referred to by Sean Levy as a unicorn of an actress.
Yes, I actually have a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
no, I have a little bit more to this too, actually. So yes, similar to that, she praised the hell out of the script, but she also emphasized, and here goes all of our theories about like Darth Talon or even Mara Jade and stuff like that.
No, Mia Goth is not Mara Jade. We all know who Mara Jade is in this. Come on, let's be real.
I'm saying even Amy Adams being Mara Jade.
Well, yeah, because Max Rebo said Mia Goth. No, get out of here.
No. But even Amy Adams being Mara Jade seems to be thrown out the window, at least if they're not just trying to subvert expectations with this, because she says it's its own thing. The movie's its own thing. New characters. It's a great script, a really great script. And I'm being pushed in ways I've never been pushed before in my career. But again, she emphasized it's a new thing, it's its own thing, it's new characters. And Sean Levy, when he was praising her, again emphasized that it's new characters, all new character. He even said something about her character specifically, like she's a fierce new character or something like that. I don't know. But again, emphasizing that Starfighter is not going to be connected to anything else, which I don't buy still. I still don't buy it. But thoughts?
I actually buy it.
Really?
Yeah.
But even with the leak that Mara Jade is playing a Jedi and her son is Force sensitive, you don't think that can connect to somebody?
Amy Adams.
Amy Adams. Yeah. What did
I say? You're in now. You're in.
Yeah.
Freudian slip.
Yes.
No, I buy the possibility that they're telling the truth. Maybe is a better way to put it.
All right.
Because listen, I happen to have defended this movie on the pod quite a bit but they literally said for months leading up to The Last Jedi, you're not going to expect this movie. You are not, this is not going, they literally put in the trailers, Luke Skywalker saying, this is not going to go the way you think it's going to go.
Yeah.
He's speaking to the audience, not only in the movie, because Rey is the audience in the movie. If you ever go watch it and go watch it and then view Rey as you, and it makes a lot more sense. But they weren't lying then. I don't think they would lie now. And I think, honestly, I think that's kind of Sean Levy's style, is to not want to be locked into whatever's been going on. I don't think they would take him and throw in big build actors to not take a swing. I disagree that it's all new, that it's a completely different thing. I do agree it's probably is its own thing that's starting up another thing.
Yeah. Well, it is, even with her saying it's new characters and it's its own thing, it can still exist as that and still have Amy Adams be playing Mara Jade. Because technically Mara Jade is not in canon, and all the other characters are going to be new, and I assume Amy Adams is going to be dead in this movie anyway, and all of her scenes are flashbacks.
You monster.
It's just how I think. But I think Ryan Gosling, Flynn Gray, Mia Goth, Matt Smith, Aaron Pierre, they're all new characters, like all brand new characters, and it will set up the future of the timeline. But it still doesn't mean that it can't be Luke's son. It still doesn't mean that it can't be Mara Jade. They're still technically new characters and a new story. It's still not connected to what came before, really. And it's still going to tell a new story. There you go. That's a good one. Derek, is your favorite?
Yeah, Derek, you see this one?
I saw.
Tried to ignore it.
You got to take Max Rebo with a grain of salt. I mean, it's not even the best
anyway.
Not even the best musician in the galaxy. Not even close.
Oh, shots fired.
Ouch.
But doesn't Max Rebo, correct me if I'm wrong, doesn't Max Rebo blow up in Book of Boba Fett? Isn't he dead?
He gone.
Man, he made it out of one explosion. I think he could make it out of two.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah, I think everybody in this show is a new character, and that could technically mean, because Mara Jade's not been on screen, that could mean that they're still talking about Mara Jade. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I think it's more likely that she's not. And they make something a little more, I don't know, a little different about it. Yeah. But we'll see. I don't know if I've seen anything else about Starfighter that makes me feel more confirmed on that. Because listen, I want some Mara Jade, but I feel like it's on me to prove why it is happening, rather than them proving to me that it's not happening.
Yeah. True. I don't know. I think Starfighter, it's still filming, of course. We won't get a teaser trailer for quite some time, I'm sure. We just got The Mandalorian's first trailer in September, right? So then we assume that next September we'll get the Starfighter trailer. But it will be a while before we have anything solid in terms of plot for this movie and character names and all that. Like, the thing about The Mandalorian and Grogu is we know their names. We know their names. We know Zeb's going to be in there. We know who he is. Carson Teva, we assume, is probably going to be in there too. Like, familiar faces. Grief Karga, maybe. We'll figure out how they do that with Carl Weathers. But familiar faces that we already know. With Starfighter, if it's brand new characters, they have the same issue that I guess The Force Awakens had, but minus Luke, Leia, and Han. The same issue that The Acolyte had, I guess that Mando Season 1 had, where it's brand new characters that we don't know. We just don't know them. We don't know their names. We don't know anything about them. So the promotion for that movie is going to have to start really early to get people to know who these people are.
I agree.
Yeah,
I think they will too.
Connected.
And especially if it's kicking off a different era,
True. Yeah. But, I'm sure they'll have a great teaser trailer that gets people excited, but think about the hooks that are in the Mandalorian and Grogu trailer. Like, it's Grogu being cute. which is great. It's the Anzellans that we saw in season 3. It's Din Djarin doing all the badass stuff we've seen for 3 seasons. If you do a Starfighter trailer, yeah, you have the big names of Ryan Gosling and others, but you don't really have the prior knowledge of these characters or the excitement level for a story that people have seen before. So it's going to be a lot harder for that movie to be a success if it's not connected at all.
I will say Star Wars makes it easy to be a little cheap with it, though, because you could make something as simple as an X-Wing into like a visual character. So I could just see that trailer kind of building up. You can kind of tell it's Star Wars. You get a little, build up, couple of shots of the actors in it, and then the same way that the Millennium Falcon flies around in the Force Awakens teaser trailer, it could be an X-Wing or whatever he flies that's just so obviously Star Wars. That could get you going, because in the teaser trailer for Force Awakens, there wasn't a single character that anyone knew in it. It was
true.
Finn, it was Poe. I don't know if Kylo Ren, other than his back, was shown in it in the teaser trailer. The only thing people really knew was the Crash Star Destroyer, the Millennium Falcon, TIE fighters. So I think you can visually do it you can rouse the crowd pretty easily and kind of like give the gist of what you're going to be watching, but not have to give up anything story-wise in the trailers.
Yeah, and actually we brought this up a couple streams ago, but Star Wars Eclipse, like that trailer dropped, it was incredible. We don't know any of those characters.
It's just stuff. And it's incredible. Stuff. Yeah. So,
but it's stuff with lightsabers, and it's stuff with like we saw the N1 Starfighter in that trailer that got people really excited. So it's stuff that we recognize still in Star Wars, and I think like you said, an X-wing will do that. The fact that it's called Starfighter needs to be brought up a little bit. So I have no doubt that they'll do stuff like that, and it'll be great. But it's a big.
My big question is, do you think that we'll get Chewie in anything, and not Nick's Chewie, but
of course,
it's an easy way that they have inserted Chewie in a lot of different things. Mm-hmm. And could it be something that, like in Starfighter, that we would get Chewie, or maybe even could we get him in Mando and Grogu?
That's what I was gonna say.
Well, yeah, because the whole. I'm still on board the whole Smuggler's Run ride, having the Mando crossover. Like they should be in the Millennium Falcon, Chewie, Han. They should be in the movie, even if it's just for like a second.
Yeah, I know it doesn't need it, but I could really see a big opportunity for in the couple of months leading into May, having your last trailer involve the Falcon and involve a Chewie roar and kind of get people geared up like, awesome. This is a part of it. This isn't just about this show that I've kind of half watched for the last 5 years.
That would be really cool.
I think that'd be an excellent opportunity. To your point of the ride, Smuggler's Run being now like phased into it. So
and with that, if you go into a little bit, maybe in the parks guy, one of the things that Hondo says, like if you're messing up the Falcon, is that Chewie's going to be upset. You don't want to make Chewie upset, but there's also a Chewie mode where you can like,
I heard about that.
Yeah, you can do a certain sequence, and Chewie flies the Falcon while you just kind of sit there. So, with all of the stuff we know, with Hondo's probably going to be in some stuff. We've got some different things. Is this a possibility that they've already foreshadowed what we're going to get?
Yeah, I mean, I would love that because, the Smuggler's Run now is sequel time, right? Mm-hmm. So this is technically all before that. Hondo is a part of the Resistance, and I mean, we haven't seen him in a while since Rebels, so we don't really know where he's at right now during the time of the Mandalorian and Grogu. But it would be really cool to see him working alongside Din Djarin, that's for sure, or even alongside Chewie and Han. I don't know. Either way, if the Millennium Falcon's in the movie, whether Han is piloting it or not, it would be pretty damn cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And going back to the Starfighter and having maybe Chewie be involved there, the fact that it's called Starfighter, you have to imagine that Ryan Gosling's character is some sort of big deal in the starfighting community. He must be a pretty good pilot. And people have mentioned maybe Poe Dameron's in it, and he's like his right hand man or something like that. That could be a possibility, but it also could just be the new government, whatever it is, like the new Republic, 5 years after Rise, could be going through some things, and you could see that at the beginning of the movie being established. And Ryan Gosling's character is this big starfighter pilot with the new government, and then maybe he like crashes or something, happens upon this kid, whatever, and then that sort of gets the ball rolling. But you could at the beginning of the movie get maybe something like a Chewie or anything sort of Poe Dameron type cameo to set up the government, to set up what's happening with the main crew, and then go off on a sort of a branch story with these characters. I don't know.
Derek, should we put up another poll?
I would love to.
What do you think is most likely to wait, how do I phrase it? What is Chewie most likely to appear in, Mando and Grogu or Starfighter?
Yeah, that's a good one. It's because Chewie's really the only one, I guess, who survived. Oh, Lando survived too.
Mm-hmm.
But Chewie is one who's more likely to show up, I guess, in Starfighter. But the whole Smuggler's Run thing makes me think Mando and Grogu.
I think the Smuggler's Run thing is a big deal that I didn't even know. You guys had told me a couple live streams ago that that's set up to basically be in that time. I also think Chewie is beyond the line of like you cannot mess that up. And the safest way to use him is to put him in something that's prior to the last time you chronologically saw him. So you know he's going to make it out.
True.
So Mando and Grogu works for that. It was a really tough moment for everybody to get the really, really quick little trick of your mind that you thought he died in Rise. If you didn't see the second ship for a half a second, the scene before. Oh man, I feel like that was a angry moment for a lot of people. But
yeah, it is. But it's a great scene. As much as I hate it, it's a great scene. Rey accidentally using the Force lightning and destroying him, and then screaming "Chewie!"
and thinks she did
so good, and thinks she killed him.
Yeah,
like that's it's amazing. I honestly wish that like affected her more and put her down a darker path. Like that would have been crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I just really wanted Rey to turn to the dark side. I don't know what it was. I just wish the two of them switched places, but
I thought they would.
I thought they would too. But in terms of Chewie, imagine like in Starfighter, we see the government now at the time, and Chewie's like the Supreme Chancellor of the Republic. He's just like
Max Rebo makes a good point. They killed Chewie like 3 or 4 times in the EU.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I think one of them they made him into a big droid spider. But
doesn't Starkiller kill him too?
Yep. Well, Starkiller kills everybody.
Yeah, he kills everybody.
He kills Obi-Wan twice. You remember that?
I don't remember the second time.
In the Sith in the Sith edition of Did you ever play that?
I don't know.
That was a long time ago, man.
Yeah. So
I don't know what I had for breakfast.
He kills Obi-Wan behind he throws him
into the thrusters,
throws him into the thrusters of the Falcon, and then Obi-Wan's Force Ghost then fights you, and then you kill that too.
Huh. I don't really remember that.
Yeah.
I don't either.
And then you go on and you turn Luke to the dark side, and you kill Boba Fett, you kill Han, you kill Leia, you kill Chewie.
It's a great game.
Great game. Can't ever be true, but
yeah, definitely not. But in terms of Starkiller-esque characters, video game characters that could be coming over to live action, Cal Kestis was brought up yet again in the news because Cameron Monaghan was in Tron Ares, the movie that came out this weekend. I heard that his part was dwindled down to like a 5-second scene, but we did get some behind the scenes stuff of him doing some action sequences on the set and stuff. And it just makes me think of him wielding a lightsaber in live action, and I need it to happen immediately.
I think two of us are on board. Got our votes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Lucasfilm, if you're watching.
I think now that I think about it, I'd rather see Cal Kestis come in. Mom, I know you're in the chat. Good to see you, Mom. Cal Kestis is the main character of the popular video game series that's out.
That they just deleted 2 of the planets off of the galaxy map from.
What the hell's going on with that? I would like to see him in kind of like its own thing. Any of the things we have running right now, I've kind of come around to. I'd rather see something else come out that he's a part of. I don't want to have to have them do backflips and do a bunch of on-screen mental gymnastics for how Cal Kestis made it to, X, Y, or Z, unless it's easy like Dathomir with Thrawn and that sort of thing. But if it exceeds, an easy thing like that, I'd rather see him in something that's more suitable for the timeline of the games.
Yeah.
Which would mean a new project that we don't even know about. So
Exactly. would you then put priority on games versus live action?
I would put priority on the third game before him in live action. I would love to see how this story winds up, because I don't want the culmination of his story to be in the game. I want the culmination of his story to happen on live action. So if you did the live action first and then it took you to the game, and that's where Cal Kestis kind of like goes, I would rather see the culmination of his story happen in live action, which I would think they would do a game first and kind of set that up.
Yeah, and obviously we know that Cal Kestis died on Alderaan, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But I kind of agree with you. I don't want to wait till the third game to get Cal in live action, but it makes the most sense to wait and do the third game first.
I guess
comes up.
To your point, though, for a cameo, I guess that could happen anytime. I'm assuming he comes in because Monaghan's such a good actor that he would actually be a part of a story, in which case I'd rather see the game first. But if it's a cameo, you can do that whenever, I guess, but I'm assuming a big role in something. So,
one of the other things going back to Ahsoka season 2 that we that I forgot to mention was the cinematographer. So Bryce Dallas Howard, one of the things she mentioned, because she's directing 2 episodes in season 2, she directed none in season 1, is that season 2, at least in her episodes, are going to be a lot more colorful than season 1, and that they have a cinematographer from Rogue One on board with Ahsoka season 2. And now, to me, Rogue One, obviously the sequel trilogy is very stunning visually, but Rogue One is like just this. There's some scenes in that movie that are like, holy crap, like this is insane. Like some far shots of the Death Star, or even like the explosion on Jakku, not Jakku, sorry, Jeddah. Where the Death Star blows it up. Like that entire scene is just visually so good. So to have those cinematographers come over to Ahsoka season 2 has got me pretty excited.
Yeah. What do we think her use of the word, what does colorful mean to her? I don't think it means literally colorful.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Something about the style and maybe like how, a lot of things going on. Could be wrong.
Actually, maybe it does in a way, because if we're getting Mortis God flashbacks, you gotta remember how, like on Mortis, when it went to nighttime, everything died, and then when it was daytime, everything came to life and it was all bright and colorful.
Yeah.
So maybe it actually means that. I don't know.
And it could, they're Dathomir's deep red. I don't know how it is after the witches, if it's still all cloudy and red or whatever, but
yeah, I assume it is, at least to an extent. But yeah, that is very colorful red, at least. Yeah. I will bring up one more thing with Bryce Dallas Howard. She is a connecting piece to Skeleton Crew. She directed an episode of Skeleton Crew, and she's coming over. She also is a connecting piece to The Mandalorian. But in a world where Dathomir, in a world
that was good. That was good.
It was good. Where Dathomir on the galaxy map is right next to At-Aten, and we've been putting this connection together for months now. Is it possible that we get some actual skeleton crew in Ahsoka season 2? Like Atten actually appears in this second season. Thrawn goes there to get some money or something, and we get to see a Neil or a Wim or a Fern or a KB.
I would be shocked if between Ahsoka season 2 and The Mandalorian and Grogu, we don't get at least a mention of something that ties Skeleton Crew.
Yeah.
Like even just a throwaway, like, well, we got to protect the mint that we found, or verify the mint, or whatever.
Yeah.
If Thrawn makes a move on it, that would make a lot of sense. Then it would obviously be in it,
but the kids really wouldn't. That's my thing. Like, I don't see where those kids would fit into the story, especially in Ahsoka season 2.
In which case, like, I don't know, if they're going to use the kids again, what would be the use of, plundering the mint now? Then what's the kid's story?
Yeah.
Later. I don't know.
I don't know either. It would be kind of crazy, and this is sort of what I came up with, was if Thrawn takes over at Atten, sort of makes the people there prisoners to an extent, and the kids are back again being excluded from the rest of the galaxy. If by the time Thrawn comes to an end and his rule comes to an end, Luke or Leia or both are the ones who reclaim Atten, and for example, Wim, who now has a lightsaber, like the opportunity for one, if not multiple of those kids to be a youngling for Luke's Jedi Temple, like that would be kind of cool if it sort of came full circle with Luke being the one who saves Atten and then senses the Force in these kids, or in one of the kids, maybe Wim, and takes him to his Jedi Temple as one of his first learners. That would be cool.
Yeah. I mean, Wim's dad, Tunde from TV on the Radio, would be perfect, a perfect worker bee for the New Republic as we see it now.
Yeah.
So I think like I would assume the New Republic coming was either like, we're going to like set up some base here, obviously some operations here, but you can also come with us and check out the rest of the freaking world if you want. And so I could see the kids doing that too. Maybe I would see them tying in more with if they ended up actually not scrapping and doing like the Rangers of the New Republic show and that sort of thing. Like I feel like that would make more sense than throwing them into Ahsoka season 2.
Well, then what about a Skeleton Crew season 2? Do you think?
Yes.
Yeah.
Come on, I'm waiting for it.
Actually, Max Rebo, even though he's making a horrible comment, does bring up a good point. What if Wim does go to Luke's Jedi Temple? Will he be killed there? I actually think yes, to an extent. Eventually, when Kylo Ren does his version of Order 66, that has to mean something. When we watch Order 66, we got like some of our favorite characters, like Plo Koon and Kiadi Mundi and Kit Fisto and Mace Windu. I guess Mace doesn't really die in Order 66, but it's pretty much the same. Those characters are dying that we love and we have an attachment to, and they die during Order 66. So thousands of Jedi die during Order 66, but if that's just the explanation, we don't know who they are, it doesn't really matter. So the same thing, like Luke's Jedi Temple falls. They all die except for Luke, at least we assume. But that doesn't mean anything to us because we don't know any of those people. But if one of them was like Wim from Skeleton Crew, or like we learn who some of the other ones are over time, then we care more,
Yeah, I'll throw out there too. I think we need Jacob back in the stream because he answered this question for me. But we were talking a long time ago about if anybody made it out of Luke's temple. And I think it's maybe a little more possible for them to make it out of Luke's temple because it's not like, Ben Solo is under the same amount of influence of the dark side as Anakin is. It's not in the same level of unhinged in that moment. So it's actually mostly a reaction more than I have to make the whole freaking walk over there and think about what I'm about to do and show no mercy while I'm at it. So I could see a greater possibility of people getting out of Luke's than the original Order 66. Just by Ben kind of like haphazardly doing it and leaving, or not having the, pardon my language, not having the balls to do it. But
Well-
I agree with you. Like, it has to mean something, and we can't be making, big long form videos about how it's not anybody's fault. Wink, wink. Which is a pretty popular thing on YouTube these days. Because it is like, it's a big deal. It's a big deal that Mace Windu, sorry to break it to you, probably dead. Kind of a big deal for Anakin. Kind of undermines his choices. Kind of undermines his choices if he's not dead. That is the Macbeth no going back moment. So might have happened a little fast on screen, but anyway, I agree with you. I think it has to mean something. We already are teed up with people who might mean something. I mean, shit, we were all thinking it was going to be that Grogu was in there when he hands him off to Luke, and we're like, dude, that makes it even more, tough to swallow.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Well, to that point too, like obviously Kylo's not killing nearly as many Jedi as Anakin did, or even that Order 66 did. There's not 10,000 Jedi at Luke's Jedi Temple, but still he's killing quite a few of people that he's grown up with, like people who he cares about or did care about at one point, the same way that Anakin does too. I mean, he literally goes to the point of trying to save his wife to force choking his wife all in a matter of a couple days.
Minutes.
Yeah. So it does. We just need more of that. We need more of who those people were, more of Kylo, more of his fall, and all that, for more of an explanation. More Knights of Ren, more Snoke, more all of it.
I think they'll build it out bigger as well, because there's a lot of stuff in comics where Luke and Ben are one-on-one a lot and going on trips a lot, which means that people are attending to the temple without Luke watching over the whole thing. So it's not just like it's a bunch of kids, presumably. I don't know. But we know people who could be there too.
True. Well, Max Rebo brings up another good point. Most students might have been killed by the Knights of Ren and not Kylo. I think it's sort of a mixture of both.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, recently, the Knights of Ren got a very good explanation in the most recent Legacy of Vader comics that makes me love, or I guess like the sequels more, yes, but like the Knights of Ren a little bit more too, because I thought that they were such an underutilized like waste, because they were so cool visually and they were just not even there for The Last Jedi at all. But they did explain it in this comic, so sort of spoiler alert, I guess, but why not know it, I guess. Knights of Ren help Kylo destroy the Jedi Temple, and then they sort of just go off and plunder the galaxy for a little bit until Snoke wants to pick Kylo up, and then he comes in, picks him up with the First Order. He's like, time for your training to continue, whatever. And at that point, he's leaving the Knights of Ren behind. And Kylo, I think in the comic specifically says to Snoke, I'll kill them if you want me to kill them. Like he says something along those lines. And he's like, now I got you. And then the stormtroopers start shooting at the Knights of Ren and they escape. So the Knights of Ren escape and flee. That's why they're not in The Force Awakens other than the flashback. That's why they're not in The Last Jedi at all. And then it's not until Snoke dies, and in this comic it explains what happens. The new leader of the Knights of Ren, this Tiva character, I think it's Teva, comes to Kylo Ren. I think they even fight with lightsabers, which sounds awesome. And then Kylo wins, and she eventually kneels in front of him, and they pledge their allegiance back to Kylo Ren. And that's why in The Rise of Skywalker, they follow him around like his minions, because they've pledged their allegiance back to him. So something on screen that was just, what the hell's going on here, was explained in comics, and it's actually a pretty good explanation.
Yeah, for sure. I'll also throw in there, Max Rebo, that if the Knights of Ren helped him significantly, that would give the students time to get out. I don't think they were just parked outside of the temple waiting for it. Because Ben, as far as we know now, again, we don't know everything, but like as far as we know now, it's very much a very instant reaction from Ben to blow the roof off the place. And I think that gives anybody who has a reason to get away a little bit of a chance to get away. And then I could see him coming back and just, paving the place. But
yeah. Well, it's just another example, too, of how comics and books, as Ron says, we need to do a comic episode. Comics and books and just more content in general around the sequels is just going to make the story better. We were talking about how Palpatine's story returning, how somehow Palpatine returns, is so much better now because you have Project Necromancer, all the stuff with the Shadow Council, the Bad Batch. Like, it's more explained now. It's more, I guess, not just somehow Palpatine returns. There's more to it. And the same with Luke, and the same with Kylo Ren, and how he fell to the dark side, and how he killed all the Jedi. All that stuff needs more. Like, I feel like Kylo Ren on Crate. More! Like, we need more.
I think we got him. I'll put this also. I think a lot of the issues and holes can really be traced back to just like mystery boxes. Because the flashback's really cool in this mystery box of a bunch of cool looking dudes.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Same with Snoke. Exactly. Same with the coolest part, honestly, of going to The Force Awakens was the first words on the screen. Luke Skywalker has vanished.
Yep.
Right? You're then in a hole. Like now you have to like you have more explaining to do than you have time for. And so it's just it's cool right away. It's a calling card of a particular person in Hollywood that I won't mention. the mystery boxes. And I'm happy that we get like really fleshed out stuff. I'll say that.
Well, Max Rebo even says, as cool as the comic sounds, the sequel trilogy, if it was written better, wouldn't need a comic to explain it. I agree with you to an extent. Even the prequel trilogy and the original trilogy, they don't need the help, but the help makes it better. For some people, the fall of Anakin's too quick in the prequels. Well, now you have 7 seasons of the Clone Wars to watch him fall to the dark side, watch him go crazy when the Jedi Order fakes Obi-Wan's death and doesn't tell him about it, and he goes full dark side, or when Ahsoka leaves the Jedi Order and he loses it. Like, now you have all of that, so it makes Anakin's fall even better, and you have the knowledge that he had a Padawan, which makes that left the Jedi Order, which makes it even easier. And even with the original trilogy, you don't need it, but Rogue One perfectly explains how they get the Death Star plans. Even Kenobi explains why last we met, I was about to learn now I'm the master, and I haven't sensed that since. And then he like walks away. There's a couple lines in A New Hope that aren't answered yet, and Kenobi answers them. So even the original trilogy and the prequels needed that. They needed those extra stories to explain it. Now, sometimes a mystery doesn't need to be explained, but it can be. For example, we know that Dooku gets rid of Kamino in the archives, but seeing it in Tales of the Jedi was so cool. So some mysteries don't like need to be explained in the sequel trilogy, but it's good to see them get explained because I want to see that.
Yeah. I was just talking to someone last week about of all films, Attack of the Clones. And I think I would prescribe to any trilogy, original, prequel, sequel, like even just doing a rewatch with the intention of just trying to catch things is enough sometimes. Like if you intently watch Attack of the Clones for details, they're in there. Whether they're executed and delivered in a way that satisfies you is a different story, and it's up to you. But like, pretty much everything about the Dooku Kamino, like what's going on, is just like breadcrumbed in the movie. But when you're watching it, especially probably when it came out, like you don't know that, right? But when you go back and watch it, it's like, oh, it was in there. Tyrannus, that Jango Fett said hired him, is actually Dooku, which means only a Jedi could have erased those files. Oh, Cypher Diaz is dead, so he must have been the patsy. All this kind of stuff that's in the movie. And then we get 7 seasons of a show about it. So like, I think my prescription would first be for people to go and watch and just see how much is actually answered in the films. Because I do notice that the sequel trilogy, plot holes and things like that get talked about by people who seem like they haven't watched them. And
or at least haven't watched them in a while.
Yeah, haven't watched. Like, what about this thing? And it's like something that explicitly occurs in the movie. And so I think, I mean, who doesn't love to watch Star Wars? Let's all
no, I question anybody that doesn't.
Yeah,
There's plenty of people that don't, but they're wrong.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah,
I just feel like it always happens, though, to what you're saying. People almost forget, or they have this notion of what happened and they don't remember something. And then when you rewatch it, you go, oh my God, that was so much better than I remember. And that it perfectly explains this and that and the other thing. On my live stream yesterday, actually, somebody was like, Mike, you're completely misremembering how that Shadow Council meeting went. And we actually watched the entire scene. And by the way, if you haven't watched Mando season 3 in a while, and that Shadow Council scene, it's only like 5 minutes. It explains exactly where we're going. It explains Thrawn coming back. It explains Hux and Project Necromancer and Starkiller Base and Snoke coming into power, the First Order, what Moff Gideon's up to, Mandalore. It explains it all in 5 minutes. It's a great scene. But I completely forgot what they talked about in there, and it even sets up the Mandalorian and Grogu movie with the guy, the Shadow Council member that we know is going to be in the movie, who's doing these hit and runs, and Hellions worried that he's becoming too noticeable by the New Republic, and that's probably exactly what's going to happen in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, and it's right in front of our faces. So you just forget little scenes like that literally tell you exactly what's going on. So yeah, go back and rewatch everything Star Wars.
Watch it all. Well, so I just finished up Ahsoka again. Like I'm just like, it's mostly like at night, so I'm like trying to stay awake because my schedule is crazy. But I love rewatching this stuff, and I'm like, wait, when did this happen?
Yeah,
and there's so much of that. I'm like, I don't even remember this, and I've watched certain things multiple times, and I just keep catching little bits.
Yeah. Oh, Holly's in the chat right now. Yeah, Holly was the one who said, Mike, you're misremembering this entire scene. Watch it. And we watched it live, and it was great. And actually, what's funny is we're seeing all these names in the chat as their actual usernames. Like, not so that's probably the glitch of
freaking
YouTube.
Me out.
Yeah.
Drop a comment or a like in there if you're with us. We still got a good, nice little group of people here.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
But absolutely. I mean, rewatching something Star Wars always gives you a new sort of outlook on what you forgot about, and maybe how you even think of it. Like, honestly, something can go from being like, I thought that was okay, to maybe one of your favorite projects ever after a rewatch.
Yeah.
Especially with new context added to it. Like, for example, Rogue One, with now the added context of Andor, is a lot better.
And I agree with you. A lot of it doesn't necessarily need it, but then once you have it, it's like, oh, great, this works.
Yeah.
You can kind of, when I left you, I was the learner. Now I'm the master. Kind of works with Mustafar. Pretty much works, except for the like, you shouldn't have come back. Telling, Tarkin that he's here, and they have that conversation about it, and Tarkin knows, who Anakin. There's like a bunch of questions there. But between Obi-Wan Kenobi and the Clone Wars of knowing, and some of the novels, that all now makes sense. Like Tarkin kind of personally knows who Vader is a little bit, doesn't say anything about it, but Vader admits it, he's in the presence of my old master in the original movie. So it's like, all right, Tarkin knows. And then you get a little bit of that from Clone Wars, but anyway.
Yeah, I mean, we're still sitting here in 2025 questioning the Yoda line, there is another. Because now it's like, oh, well, was it Leia? Well, George Lucas didn't intend them to be siblings in Empire, or did he? Because they kissed at the beginning of the movie. And then
Lord.
And now we know that Grogu, Ezra, Ahsoka, Cal Kestis, like there's a bunch of Jedi. There's a bunch of others, but did Yoda know about them? I don't know.
Yeah. I like the idea that Yoda's like, screw this kid.
Yeah.
Let's get whoever
Next.
You're dead.
Yeah.
Dead to me.
Like your father.
Yeah. Literally.
He's from Jersey.
Yeah.
Yoda is now Jewish and from New Jersey. It's great. I love it.
Well, honestly, to Yoda, it's been 20 years, which is like nothing to him. But for everybody else, we're like, oh my God, we've waited this entire time for Luke to be the savior. And Yoda's like, next.
Yeah.
Like,
he's like,
we're done
I
with this.
just took a nap.
Yeah. Yeah.
An eternal nap. Oh,
Oh, that's
sorry.
too soon. Too soon.
Too soon.
Yeah.
It's only been 42 years.
Yeah,
No.
just to wrap up my Attack of the Clones comment, I spent the better part of an hour running mentally through my head of Attack of the Clones and explaining the Qui-Gon isms of Obi-Wan Kenobi, because
Yeah.
someone told me that Obi-Wan's just like a rigid rule follower, and I was like, oh yeah, and I'll have to put a timer on sometime on one of these streams and go through the Qui-Gon isms of Obi-Wan Kenobi just in Attack of the Clones. But it was fun. I encourage you to try to do a speed run of it, of something. But
yeah. Well, it is funny because we watched Tales of the Jedi and the prequels and all that, and you're sitting there, and in Tales, Dooku says to Qui-Gon, "You're a much stronger Jedi than I'll ever be," or "You're much," whatever he says. And then Qui-Gon says the same thing to Obi-Wan in The Phantom Menace. Obi-Wan says the same thing to Anakin in Revenge of the Sith. And Sam brought up the fact, she was like, so what you're telling me is that Anakin is Dooku's great grand apprentice. I was like, yes, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
But the ideas of Dooku are just filtered down. Dooku leaves the Jedi Order, but the ideas of that, the I guess corruption of the Jedi Order and the Senate too, that goes down to Qui-Gon. He sees that firsthand with Dooku. He has very similar ideas. He teaches that to Obi-Wan, and he teaches that to Anakin, and it all sort of, with the help of Palpatine, makes him the most evil being in the galaxy.
Yeah, that was one of my Qui-Gon-isms of him, actually. You can barely hear it because you're kind of like in between Padme's room and them talking in the beginning of Attack of the Clones. But Obi-Wan's telling Anakin that whole time, like, dude, these politicians are corrupt, and Palpatine's the worst out of all of them.
Yeah.
Like, you got to be careful, and here's why. And then it cuts to her room, and all the worms are crawling around. But I was like, that right there, you're like 10 minutes into the movie, and Obi-Wan's already pulling the weird Facebook posts on Anakin, you know?
Yeah. That's absolutely true.
Yeah. The difference is Anakin has the dude in his ear, as Dooku did. But,
yeah,
Anakin's still like maintaining some level of like aloof innocence, which is dangerous, where Dooku's like, all right, I know which side to be on.
Yeah. Dooku's sort of like the Palpatine's practice for getting Anakin to the dark side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, Dooku's a little too selfish. Like, Anakin, and to some degree, is legitimately selfless while also being selfish. So like, I got to play this right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, to that point too, like you have Palpatine being in his ear, but also it's the corruption of the Jedi Order that's seen all the way through the entire prequel trilogy.
Yeah.
But I think that's another thing that, like, Tales of the Jedi, just another spin-off, very quick series, explains so well. You see it all through the 3 Dooku episodes of just the corruption of the Senate and the corruption of the Jedi and all that stuff, and them not seeing it, and it eventually ending up Qui-Gon being dead because of it, and he's just had enough. It's really, really good.
Yeah. Had enough, but is like at the same time already double timing it with his Sith Lord.
Yeah,
so
true.
Has already deleted the archives. Oh, also funny scene from Attack of the Clones. You mentioned it earlier, but Obi-Wan talking to Jocasta Nu in the library.
Oh yeah,
and he's just like not taking no for an answer. Jocasta Nu turns out to be a pretty cool character in the comics. But she just kind of poo-poos him. Is like, if it's not here, it doesn't exist, you freaking idiot.
Yeah, pretty much.
What are you talking about? And so he goes to yoga, and not yoga. I'm sure Obi-Wan does yoga. He goes to Yoda, and it's so obvious a kid can see it.
Yes.
Like, it's so obvious that Obi-Wan's not wrong. He's like, it's right here, right? And it's in a room full of kids, and Yoda's like, yeah, kid can see it, but you're right. Let's talk over here. This is really weird. Go investigate it.
Yeah.
And I never noticed that until I started talking about it the other day, that like maybe the point of the youngling in there is to tee up that it's really sad that Anakin slaughters him in the next movie. But it's also like, this is so easy a kid can see it. This is how rigid Jedi Masters are becoming. This is how like arrogant and set in their ways. And then Obi-Wan, Windu, and Yoda are talking later on, and Windu and Yoda say the same thing to Obi-Wan, like, man, Jedi are so sure of themselves now. It's really annoying. And you need to just keep going with Anakin because he's a chosen one.
Yeah.
And then the next movie, they do not feel that way. And Obi-Wan's like, no, this is my boy. And then we all know what happens there.
Oh.
I think Attack of the Clones is extremely underrated for a lot of those same scenes and all that. Like it's very important to Anakin's story, but it's just completely underrated.
You also see a lot of where he's coming from. Like, it's not just about, like, it's his mom, obviously, and the corruption, but he's also like kind of already a little radicalized. The joke with Padme, like, someone wise should make people do everything. And she's like, okay, weirdo. Making the distinction that he didn't just kill the men but the women and the children, like, that's how bad it was. Like, the distinction is important there. It went beyond retribution. I think he lays out like all the reasons rather than it makes it more complicated, which is a lot more real in my opinion. But
well, and I think especially with the Book of Boba Fett, it just kind of sheds some more light, and it makes that situation have even more tension. So like if you watch some of the Book of Boba Fett and then go back and watch that, you're like, yee.
Yeah.
He had some big feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the Tuskens are always set up to be the villains. They're always set up to be the bad guys just because in A New Hope they are described to be, at least. And then you don't really, until the Book of Boba Fett, see that they're sort of nice people, or at least some of them can be.
Or season 2, episode 1, Mandalorian. They're kind of fun when they go get the pearl out of the dragon. They're kind of fun.
That's true.
But then you get to know them like emotionally, and it's like, oh man, this is a real thing. But
and you have to imagine like the moisture farmers on Tatooine, they're impeding on their land, sort of, and you have to assume that like from their perspective, these moisture farmers are probably trying to hunt them down. So they're like, well, we'll do it first. Like it's sort of a back and forth type thing. Actually, going back to the Dooku of it all in the
Dooku of it all
in the archives, there's a deleted scene right before Obi-Wan talks to Jocasta Nu of them standing in front of the Dooku statue, because they have all the statues of the lost ones or whatever they called them. And that conversation, I don't really remember exactly what they say, but it's really, really good. And I think it should have been left in the movie.
Same.
I don't really, I don't recall what it says, but
he says he's like feeling some type of way about it. Like he's got Obi-Wan kind of has a little bit of an attitude in that movie the whole time. More so like in a different way than even like Clone Wars jokey attitude. He's like kind of a dick sometimes. And I think in that deleted scene he just goes like, why did he quit? And he's like pissed at him because he feels like, in the wake of like Qui-Gon dying, all that kind of stuff, Dooku just like quit. Like, hey, I kept going, and I'm, 20, or I was 20 or whatever.
Yeah,
like you can get your shit together too. But it is I'll have to look it up. It is a very interesting conversation because it leads into the scene we see, which is like something funky going on here, and it would give the audience, I suppose. I get the feeling George Lucas is trying to make it like this investigative mystery about this clone army and stuff. And if you lined up those two scenes, it would make it really even more obvious that Dooku's the one who did it all,
Yeah.
So I could see him cutting it out for that reason. But
yeah. True. Yeah. Max Rebo's calling you out.
Which S word?
All of them. Sith.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Whoops. When did I say that? Man, that's not good. If I'm not noticing it.
It's gone too far. It's getting out of hand.
It's good. It's good for us.
Exactly.
Yeah. I didn't even check the polls either. Like the last one
Yeah,
was like
let's see.
45 minutes. Let's see the Starfighter one. Hold on.
Let's see it.
Let's see. Oh my gosh. So what is Chewie more likely to show up in? People are saying 57% said Starfighter.
Wow.
Mm.
I would actually lean more Mandalorian and Grogu, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
But-
Guess we're going to find out. Or maybe it's nothing.
Oh, yeah. Maybe it's neither.
Yeah. If he was coming to one of them,
he's going to be in something. It's Chewie.
Yeah.
It's the easiest character to put in something.
he'd be it'd be easier to put him into Mando and Grogu, but it would help if like Mando and Grogu doesn't need as much help publicly as Starfighter would to like connect people to it. So I could see Starfighter being.
Speaking of easy characters to put in, will we see R2 again?
Mm.
Or C3PO?
Interesting.
Do you feel like they teed that up in Ahsoka season 2?
Yeah, with C3PO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, are they in Solo? I know they're in Rogue One. They're on the Yavin base, but are they in Solo?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
So that would be the first movie that they aren't in because they're in all the other movies.
Let's find out.
That's a good question.
Google it up.
Google.
Yep. Only if we had a way to figure this out.
Yeah.
C3PO.
No, C3PO is not.
No, they are not. Okay.
It's a different character.
Yeah, it says breaking the streak of them appearing in every single theatrical Star Wars film. So I would have said yes if they were in Solo because they'd be in every Star Wars movie and they wouldn't stop that streak, but I guess they already stopped the streak. I don't know. I don't see them being in Starfighter, that's for sure. But Mandalorian and Grogu, maybe. Well, R2-D2 is with Luke, so that would mean Luke's going to be in there. C-3PO could be more likely.
Who gets I don't remember, is 3PO with Rey at the end of Rise, or is it just R2? Or is even R2
at the
there?
end?
Yeah.
It's BB-8 on Tatooine.
Oh, it's BB-8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
R2.
So who are they most likely to be left with at the end of Rise?
Well, I don't know. R2 is there when Leia dies.
Yeah.
3PO goes with them to Kijimi. I feel like they could stay with like Poe. If Poe takes more of a leadership position in like the new government, then maybe with that.
BB-8 then.
Well, BB-8's with Rey.
Yeah, that's weird.
No.
But at the same time, yeah, Poe's like, that's my droid. I don't know.
Maybe Rey takes R2.
Yeah, that's what I guess I assumed she did because that makes more sense visually to me if like when she goes to Tatooine. But Mike's right.
It's definitely BB-8.
Yeah, and I just thought like, oh, R2 could be Poe Dameron's like lead X-wing astromech, and then I'm like, well, no, he has BB-8, so I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, that is weird. And R2, honestly, since his memory doesn't get wiped, he could be a big help for Rey's new Jedi Order anyway. So C-3PO is more of what he is, a protocol droid, so it would make more sense for him to be involved with the government or something like that.
Mm-hmm. I'm still waiting on or hoping for some kind of Star Wars project that takes advantage of the sort of like original view of the original like Star Wars script where we talk about the journal of the wills as dictated by R2-D2 basically.
Yeah.
Like he tells.
Yeah.
So I've still been looking forward to, I think they're going to do that sometime because like you said, he knows everything that's gone on in intimate detail. I think it'd be a big help to throw that in there. I would love a little mention of the wills in Ahsoka season 2 since we're getting weird.
Yeah,
we're getting weird here.
Yeah,
we are getting weird.
Yeah.
Well, we only get the wills in season 6 of Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're getting some sort of Force Ghost stuff in Ahsoka season 2, then I don't see why not.
Mm-hmm.
But that is getting pretty weird.
Mm-hmm.
We're already there.
That's true.
just the act of having the Mortis statues there made it like 100% weirder in a good way, in the best way.
Oh,
like acknowledging Mortis in more than just a fever dream of a few episodes of Clone Wars is a big deal. So,
well, if you think about Ahsoka in the end of that first season, without that, it's sort of like the big pushing point towards Abeloth, and that being what Balin's looking for. Because without the Mortis God statues, it could really be a number of things, maybe something completely new. Like the fact that they're putting Mortis right there in front of our faces is clearly leading towards that.
This is a good point. Thanks, Max Rebo.
They were mentioned in Rogue One. What?
Yeah, that's what Chirrut is and what Baze was. They're
yeah.
They're
like defenders or protectors or something of the
wills. Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah. Yes, they're mentioned. Guardians of the Wills.
There you go.
Yeah. Huh. That's cool.
So we have a live action mention already. Okay, so I want another one.
Yes.
To me.
Yeah, let's get more. The more the merrier.
Yeah. Somehow the Wills returned.
Yeah. Huh.
Well, how are we feeling, you guys?
Man,
I mean,
just so much fun stuff.
Yeah, we went over a ton today from all over the timeline.
Oh man, I know. I'm just like trying to wrap my head around it. It's probably a good spot to call it a night. But
so too.
Man,
we
prequels to sequels to sequels to prequels.
We always make, and it took us like 10 minutes to get into the Acolyte too. So
right, and we talked about the Acolyte. We got Mara Jade. We got Cal Kestis. I kind of feel like we hit our things that we do.
That's just all of Star Wars right there. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, despite the jokes, we really appreciate everybody who came on. Again, you could be doing anything with your night, and you chose to spend it listening to us ramble. So we very much appreciate it.
This is very focused.
Yes, you're right.
It's very focused.
Right. Yeah. Always a great time. We miss you, Ron. I know you're in the chat. There he is.
Yep. And next week, I think it's just you two. Or maybe just Nick. I don't know. I'm out. I'm in Phoenix for work next week, which means I get some In-N-Out burger next week.
Oh.
And some Del Taco. Let's go.
Nice. Yep. This is a big one too.
Yeah.
Check out Mike.
2:00 tomorrow. Yep. As per usual, and I'm sure we'll be
Eastern time.
A lot of the same
us normal folk in Central time.
Eastern
time. 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock for us. But that'll be great. And then you got Saturday as well. So before you see us, Mike will have streamed 3 times. So
that's so crazy.
We'll be back next week as always. But smash a like, everybody. Would really appreciate that. If you don't know how, that simple. It helps us out quite a bit. So anything else, you guys? Anything you want to part with?
I love Star Wars.
No, true story.
All right.
Cal Kestis died on Alderaan. Sorry.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. All right. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. We'll see you next week on Star Wars Jedi Chat. May the Force be with you.
Bye-bye.